Hi everyone, welcome back. We've had some heat, haven't we? So I hope you've all coped with it. Right, it's the start of June, so I'm going to show you what I've been up to. So these are some of the tomatoes I've done. You know, I've had to leave the pots in. These are sort roll here. They're like, these ones are 7 gnomes, and that's a crazy cherry. These 3 here are cucumbers, Merlin. These are my Ailsa onions that I need to pot up because they'll grow quite big. And then we've got some chilies. That variety is lemon drop. These tiny little things were eclipse. They've just started to shoot away now, so you know, I think they should be okay. Right, these are crimson, those 2. These are King of the North peppers, and that is solar flare chili. You know what they're doing okay. Right then, I'll take these out and we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down. Right, this bed here is full of broad beans. You know, I think I will have to put some canes in and string them. You know, like this. I mean, they've only been in a couple of days. We've got some beetroot, some flowers still to go in, and some red cabbage, cosmos. These are sunflowers. I need to get them in. These are the leeks. These are perfect for going in now. They're just about pencil thickness. There's some more leeks. These 2 here are crown prince squash. Right, so we'll go in here. I can't remember what these are. These are cabbage cordessa. These are winter cabbage. Spring onions. I mean, these are all seed and they're not, you know, like they're not doing too good. These are my dahlias. That's a rebel starfighter, and that's a black, I can't see the label there, black beauty. These 2 are maisie tomatoes. I'll have to put these into bigger pots, but you know, like they're looking really healthy. Right, oh, there's some lettuce that I need to put on, but as soon as I've sowed them, I mean, there's some tomatoes turned up. Why? I don't know. Right then, so we'll go around this way. Oh, there's some spare beans. Right, then we'll go around this way. Right, so if you've noticed, there's 4 beds that are empty. Yes, I'm getting some more brassicas, like they're the club root resistant variety. They're coming from a well-known online retailer next month. You know, so I get them every year, you know, like just as a backup in case my seeds don't germinate. Right, and so we've got one, I mean, like that one and that one over there. These are cabbages and collies, calabrese. You know, like they're looking really good actually, healthy. You know, like we've just had a bit of downpour, so that's helped. Oh, if you've noticed on the edge of the beds, I've got helichrysum. These will grow up to about there. There's some beetroot I've missed. These onions here are Kelsey. They'll grow quite big. These are just your normal onions there that I've had spare. That's where the leeks are going. These are more broad beans that I had no room in the top bed. And as you can see, some more onions, which are doing really well. No, there's one thing's for sure, I'm not going to run short of onions. These are Brussels sprouts, and I don't know if you can see, but in between them, I'll see if I can point one out. That there's a few in there, turnip golden ball. You know, like they'll be ready in a few weeks. I mean, the sprouts will not be ready till, you know, like Christmas time. But as you can see, you know, like the onions are doing great. These are more cabbages and collies. You know, so I've got the variety in there. I think the Alvaron. There's some Cosmos. Got some lovely flowers on them. Right, this side, I had, oh, there's some more Cosmos. You know what, I haven't a clue what's going on with these onions. See now they've been nibbled. Yeah, I don't know if that's pigeons. You know, I know I've got rabbits, but I think rabbits are, I mean, like onions are toxic to rabbits. You know, I'll show you a picture, because I've got a picture somewhere of the rabbit, and it was next to that blue barrel over there. Little beggars. Right, so we've got sunflower giant. One good tip is don't grow these near your vegetables, because they'll suck all the, you know, the goodness out of the soil. Sweet peas. These are cobra beans. You know, like they're looking okay. These are runner bean white lady. And this row here is a dwarf bean called Pongo. Oh, look at that, it's a self-seeded puppy. This is the beetroot bed, which is looking really healthy. That there is a self-seeded California poppy. So I'm just going to leave there, and there, and there. There's a crown prince. Oh, I don't know if you can remember, in the last one, this lupin was here. So I'm going to take it out and I'm going to rehome it somewhere. Right, I'll show you the, you know, like the carrots, the germination's been good. You know, like there's the odd one, well, that one's starting to come up there. There's a few spaces, but I'll just re-sow there. And in this bed here, you know, I got a dibber and I dibbed holes, and then I filled with old compost. Bit of a mixture, and as you can see, they're starting to sprout. Yeah, so that's a good sign. Right, let's go a bit further down. Right, these onions were sowed from seed. They're looking okay. More onions. These were sets. I mean, these ones were sown in a straight line, and these ones were on a diagonal. They're looking really healthy. Right, let's go towards this way. These are the potatoes, which are coming up really well. You know, it's as soon as you see the, you know, the green shoots and that, you know, like you earth them up. You know, like, and that's what I've done. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like there's 5.5 rows there, and I've got all the tubs, which, you know, like these are growing pretty good now. You know, like they're all coming through. And I've got 4 tubers of pink fir apple in there. There's one coming up there. So thanks, Cassie, for that. I'm looking forward to trying them. I think I'm going to get wet going through these black currants. But as you can see, the black currants are doing really well. You know, like it was about 2 months ago and I hacked them really back. So they have been revigorated. Right, all these here are self-sown nasturtiums. You know, like they pop up every year, and you know, so I just leave them to let them do the thing. Right, this bed here, these are parsnips. The germination's been a bit, you know, like they look okay. You know, like they're doing well. I mean, these are starting to come up now. You know, like this whole bed's parsnips. There's a one there. I can still see the casing on the top. There's another one. There's the onions. Looking good. This is okra, which I've never grown before, so I'm looking forward to. I think it's also got a name called women's fingers, which is quite odd. That is Jerusalem artichoke. I've just got some flowers. These are the roses. The roses are looking really good. No, they're starting to get buds on. There's some peas. You know, I don't grow a lot of peas because I like these for myself over the garden as a treat. And look at these lupins. Aren't they beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. Who's that handsome lad there? This here, these are rose campion. I think it's rose campion. You know, like they'll get lovely, like deep purple flowers on them. Just got some spare plants over there. But them lupins, I'm well impressed with them. You know, like there's more coming away there. Right, so let's go in the bottom greenhouse. You know, I need to tidy these up a bit. You know, like and straighten them all up, but they've shot away. You know, like they haven't been planted long, and they've just, you know, like the growth, and I've knocked, you know, like some of the growth off. You know, and there's another one. Well, that's my old watering can. These are courgettes and more cosmos, but I'll be taking them home for the front garden. You know, but as you can see, everything's looking really healthy. You know, that bit heat, and you know, like the rain we've had, and everything's just shooting away. Oh, it's just lovely being over here. It's looking lush. Right, I'll turn you back round. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.